Hey everyone, this is Andromeda,
This is Avon.
and we're back with our weird time. And today we are talking about Cresswick.
Cresswick is a short film done by Natalie Erika James in 2017. Apparently, it is supposed to be her trying out ideas and certain stuff that she then really delves into with her feature debut, Relic, which is amazing. That film is a really good movie, but we're not here to talk about that just yet. We watched it on Alter, our YouTube channel, filled with a bunch of short films, and they showed off Crestwick because Relic came out.
It was posted on
Anything?
Alter in 2019 to hype
Oh,
up
okay.
Relic.
Oh, yeah, yeah. To hype up Relic, it came out on 2017.
Hmm.
At least that's what IMDb says. So it must have been shown in festival circuits or something like that.
Yeah.
It is about a woman like coming back to kind of her father, gathering, it seems like, kind of her stuff again, living with him a bit before he sells the house. He's a carpenter, and it's a very atmospheric short. It's short, it's only ten minutes, but it's very atmospheric. I really like the slow burn atmosphere that they build up to. Not a lot happens. There's moments of you're seeing someone in the woods, almost walking close to people or walking close to her, and it really builds a very thick, almost alone or like you're being watched atmosphere until the dad is forgetting stuff, and the last bit is her saying she's gonna lock up the house for him and him going to bed, and on his shoulders is a person that's all this black kind of color, just like dark, and opening their eyes, and it's on his shoulder.
Hmm.
So we'll delve into to my interpretation of all of that. I highly recommend watching it too. It is a really effective short. What did you how did you feel about it?
Yeah, I mean, I really liked it when we were first watching it. Some of the noises that were coming from the short film, I actually thought were on Avon's side, and I was like, "What is that noise? Like that can't be here. Stop that noise!" And she was like, "Pause it," and I was like, "Oh, it's from the short film." So it really pulled me into it. I definitely liked literally seeing the dad's mental decline with the wood shop specifically, because it starts out with him saying that he was commissioned, and you can kind of assume
Mm-hmm.
that like since he's selling the house, it probably wasn't, and he has the one of his woodworking machines like sort of working overtime, and you don't know whether it's him that did it or if it's this sort of other spirit that did it. And I like
You see
seeing
these
the
almost distorted chairs.
mhm,
Really cool distorted chairs as they go along, almost like what here is affecting him and is distorting his mind pretty much. It's how I took it. It's an allegory for guilt, for trauma, like not being able to get away from trauma, and for a touch of Alzheimer's too. Like
mhm.
a touch of dealing with watching your parent have dementia, which heavily goes into Relic.
Well, and also you can see that like the dad's not eating. There's unwashed dishes
I
everywhere
actually didn't realize that. Yeah, yeah.
because the sandwich was covered in sawdust, and she joked and was like, "I slaved over that sandwich," and he was like, "Oh yeah, I was just in the zone." Another thing I noticed this time that I didn't notice before is that there was at least a separation because with him and her mom, because he says to her, "You hated being here when you were a kid. You always wanted to go
Yeah.
back to your mom's."
What I thought that was because there is a person called Charlie who used to live in the house, seemingly being her sibling. Because
Mm-hmm.
you see names like measuring your height, who's taller and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So what I've always interpreted that as is Charlie died in some fashion,
Yeah.
either killed themselves or died in some accident. I think it was an accident. I remember thinking originally when I first watched this, it was they killed themselves, but with that comment and a few things, I do think it was like an accident or something happened, and it created strife and, him and his wife. So they kind of separated, which happens a lot when a child dies. I think that really goes into, I think that's what is the person that you see a lot, is the kind of spirit of Charlie, and this factor that you're not able to walk away from whatever happened, the trauma, the guilt, that he blames himself for it. And that's what that person on his shoulder is representing. It is the literal embodiment of guilt and not being able to run away from, your trauma or anything of what's happened.
And also just how that stuff weighs you down.
Yeah.
And it can lead to disorders like Alzheimer's developing.
Yeah. It is really good. And that striking image at the end where you just see the thing on him is, you just see the person. It's one of those images that you just don't forget about, really. It's stuck in my mind. I really, really like it.
Yeah, I do as well. I feel like it's a pretty simple concept. I don't have too much to say on it besides what you've already said and what I've already said.
Yeah. No, it's simple but effective.
Yeah, definitely.
The only other thing, especially from my notes, that I can really gather is that it's the person in the woods walking to her is almost like trauma kind of just keeps walking to you. You're not really able to forget it, which just builds upon that idea and everything.
Oh, I did like that from the beginning, the dog was not fucking with whatever was going on.
Oh, yeah.
Because he was like, even Duchess has started sleeping outside, and you only see the dog outside. Also, I love her. I love that her name is Duchess. I just love
that the dog doesn't die.
Yes, I do too. I was like, oh my god. I couldn't remember, but I was like, does the dog die? Fuck.
Oh, really?
I couldn't remember.
Oh, yeah, no. Yeah, I'm happy the dog does not die.
Same.
But I am very excited to see whatever Natalie Erika James does next. After, Relic. I'm not going to go into Relic as much, but was a really, really good film, and stuff like this has shown that she's a really good director and writer, so I'm really excited to see what she does next.
Yeah, I am too. You said her next film is coming out in 2024, around then?
It's okay. It's called Apartment 7A, and we know nothing about it. All we know is the title. I don't know when it will be coming out. Plot, it literally says on IMDb right now, plot kept under wraps. So no one really knows anything about it. Most likely that means they're starting filming now. I don't really have any expectations upon Apartment 7A. I don't really want to. I just want to see what comes out and, what we get from it. Normally, if it's being filmed now, because that's what it seems like, because we have cast and we have plot kept under wraps, so that normally means it's most likely going to get a 2023, 2024 release, but that's all I can really say about that.
I enjoy anything that this director does, and I'm excited to see what she does next.
You don't have a lot of female directors in horror, so it's really cool seeing that. I think her and Jennifer Kent are the only two I can think of off the top of my head.
And Jennifer Kent is the one who did
Babadook and Nightingale.
Which I cannot see Nightingale because triggers. Woo!
Oh, it's amazing.
I'm sure it is. I can't do it. So maybe you can talk about that on your own at some point.
Yeah, it's a brutal masterpiece.
All right, well, that's it for now. So once again, I am Andromeda.
I'm Avon.
So bye.
Bye.